Today's Bears Mailbag is sponsored by Manscaped. Get the best men's grooming products out there with Manscaped. Promo code BEARS20. That'll get you 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com. Beard Hedger, might have to trim this thing during the draft. Maybe you guys can force me to do it. Who knows, with some super chats. Speaking of super chats, if you super chat, we'll get you on our mailbag. Papi Chulo sits. Who's a reasonable fire polls pick at number 9? I kind of jokingly tweeted this because there's no chance it happens. If the Bears go rogue and draft a quarterback at number 9, I might be done with this regime already. But they're not going to do that because they're not a stupid regime right now. Bring the sport. Should we draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba? I'm open to it. I've got him as a top 10 prospect on my Bears draft big board. So I'm not closed off to the idea. I'm not closed off. I don't think it's a top need, but I'm not closed off to the idea, especially if that keeps him away from Green Bay. K Cobra, how would you feel if the Bears drafted Bijan Robinson and traded up to draft an offensive lineman, FGB FAR? Get the FGBs rolling, FARs for Cobra. That fraud Aaron Rodgers is out of the division finally. I don't mind Bijan in a trade down scenario. I don't think I would take him at number 9, but if you trade down to 15 and he's sitting there, I could certainly be talked into it. Chest Rockwell, if we were to add an early second, how do you feel about adding Darnell Washington? Great upside as a receiving threat and absolutely flattens defender as a blocker. Yeah, I think he's appealing. He's an extra offensive tackle out there. I just have visions of the Bears running QB power in the red zone where Fields is trying to get the edge and Darnell Washington setting the edge by flattening a defender or two. And then also you hit him with a little play action boot, 6'7", 265 weapon leaking out into the corner of the end zone. Yeah, I like Darnell Washington for a fit on this football team. Hemi Buckets, Paris Johnson, Jalen Carter available at number 9, and no trade offers come. Who do you draft? First of all, former Bulls legend Jimmy Butler, absolutely going nuclear in the NBA playoffs. Shout out to Jimmy Buckets. He is a legend. That's an interesting scenario. They're both there. Who do you take? If you want to go more boom bust, you take Jalen Carter. If you want a guy that is probably a bit of a safer pick but still has some work to do, it's Paris Johnson. Why don't you guys decide? You decide for me. My heart rate's going to be boom, 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 number 9 on Thursday night if this scenario presents itself. Who do you want? Type JC for Jalen Carter. Type PJ for Paris Johnson Jr. Who would you rather have if both were available and you could not trade down? Harrison Graham's beard, over under half Bears trading up in the first 2 days. So basically he's saying, will the Bears trade up at least once on the first 2 days? I'm going to say yes, they'll trade up once, and here's why. Because I think they'll trade down from 9, which I think could lead to a trade up in the second round. Because you have those 3 second, third round picks. You'll probably get a 4th if you trade down from 9. So I could see packaging a couple of those to move up on day 2 to go get a player you really like. K Cobra, the player that's flying under everyone's radar is Isaiah Foskey. Any thoughts on him, or do you prefer someone else? I like him on day 2. Big edge, had a bunch of sacks at Notre Dame. So, yeah, you keep him local. I think he fits the bill of a 4-3 defensive end, and you got to imagine the Bears have taken a decent close look at him. From Dennis Henman, who's a dark horse pick at number 9 overall. Dark horse. I don't know if Darnell Wright's a dark horse at this point, but most people would say that's drafting too high. Maybe it probably slightly is, but the Bears really like him from what it sounds like. So maybe he's an option. JSN. I still think there's a scenario where the Bears draft JSN number 9 overall, and I would say that would be considered a bit of a surprise at this point in time. Manscaped is going to solve all of your men's grooming products, the best products known to Manscaped. Manscaped.com, code BEARS20, 20% off the Lawnmower 4.0. Keep your family jewels protected and nice and trim with this product. It comes with a wireless charging station. You can use it in the shower as it is water resistant. It also has adjustable guards, so you don't have to go full shave down there. You can do a little bit of a trim if you'd rather go that route as well. Promo code BEARS20 at manscaped.com. You can also get the crop gel to kind of keep that area nice and smooth when after you shave as well. promo code Bears20 comes in the nice box. Get 20% off. And listen, if you want to be the face of a franchise, you got to get going with Manscaped. Promo code Bears20. Get going today. Lure Dieter, if one of the top 4 quarterbacks is available at 9, what other team would you expect most to trade up with Chicago? I mean, teams after 9 that could trade up. Tennessee at 11 stands out. I would say Houston at 12 stands out if they don't take a quarterback at 2. It's not going to be Philly at 10. It's not going to be the Packers at 13, and you're not going to trade with them anyway. If New England just loves somebody, maybe, but I think they're going to roll with Mac Jones for another year. They brought his college offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, on board, so I think that's pretty settled. Jets obviously aren't taking a quarterback at 15. Washington at 16, if they don't fully believe in Sam Howell, producer Roley would be in shambles, but that could be one. I'll throw one more at you. Tampa at 19. If they want to stay in win-now mode a little bit in a bad NFC South and one of the top 4 quarterbacks is available, they got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You get a decent quarterback in there, they could still contend in the NFC South. Emiliano Brito, if Stroud falls to 9, I could see a team like Washington trading up. I want more 2024 first-rounders unless Carter is at 9. Yeah, listen, if you get another first or even a second in next year's draft, that's huge. I mean, I would love to see that happen, no doubt about it. So, trade down from 9 to 16, maybe pick up a second or, a pick this year and a pick next year. Yeah, I'd do that. William Brock, if Josh Downs is there with our first second-round pick, would you pull the trigger? He's appealing if he's still there at 53. That would be kind of just a BPA situation where it's like, okay, Downs is similar to Mooney. You don't necessarily need a player like that, but Mooney's on the final year of his rookie deal, and this is clearly the best player available at this point. And look, if the Bears go best player available, I'm not going to bitch and complain about it. Like, you need good football players, and Josh Downs is a good football player. Subscribe to the channel. We are right at 65,000 subscribers, 9 subs away. If we are not at 65,000 by the start of the NFL draft, the draft is canceled. So let's make sure that happens. Latest Bears draft coverage, news, rumors. Don't miss any of it. Let's get there. Okay, Richard Lococo, if you trade down from 9 to 12 from the Texans, would you draft JSN because you would be in front of Green Bay? I'd be open to it. I don't think you can draft a player purely to keep him away from Green Bay, but I've also heard the Bears do really like JSN. So, yeah, you trade down 9 to 12 with Houston, draft JSN, and then get a tackle later. I'm perfectly content with that. Daniel Armstrong, do they draft a cornerback on day 2? I would like to. I find myself doing that in just about every mock draft that I do for the Bears. There's just a lot of guys on day 2 you can get. Tyreek Stevenson. You can get Clark Phillips. You can get Keely Ringo potentially. Cam Smith out of South Carolina. Like, there's guys that can be starters right away. Now, they may not be lockdown players, but decent outside CB2s as rookies. Like, you need to find one of those guys opposite of Jalen Johnson. And by the way, Jalen Johnson is in the final year of his rookie contract. Like, if the Bears haven't decided to extend him or keep him long term, that's another reason that you need to draft a corner, because you need someone to replace him potentially if he ends up leaving after this year. Nicholas Selvey, Skoronski wouldn't be a bad pick. Tevin hasn't been healthy since the Bears have been here, always going down with injuries. I get that, Selvey, but if you're drafting Skoronski, he is an undoubted starter. So where does he start if you draft him? I think at first I would try him at right tackle, and I think he'd be pretty good there. The short arms is a legitimate thing. It's a somewhat of a concern. I still think he'd be a good tackle in the NFL, but I think he could be an awesome guard. Like, I think he could be Zach Martin at guard. I really do. But you sign Nate Davis and you have Tevin Jenkins. Do you shop Tevin Jenkins, try and trade him? Do you try and kick him back to tackle? Do you play Skoronski at tackle first? Look, you'd have options. And look, if you take him at 9, that's a solid, good, safe pick. Like, at worst, you kick him inside and he plays guard. At best, he's a great tackle, and that's what you need. So I would not be upset with Peter Skoronski. It wouldn't be my top choice, but I would not be upset with it. We're going to be live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel as well for all 3 days of the NFL Draft, starting with round 1 on Thursday. Bryce Young, the expected number 1 pick. Then it could be chaotic after that. Go check out our main coverage starting at 6 Eastern, and then come over to Bears when we go live on Bears Now. But we'll be live throughout the entire NFL Draft on our main Chat Sports channel, so don't miss any of that. Good, detailed analysis of every single pick. Dennis Henman, I love the idea of trading back into the teams to draft Joey Porter Jr., team up with Jaquan Brisker, and Joey Porter Jr. in the secondary sounds nice. Here's what I'll say. If you add a really good corner, you've kind of completed your secondary, which is appealing. It is. Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brisker are your safeties. You would have Jalen Johnson and, let's just say in this scenario, Joey Porter Jr. on the outside, Kyler Gordon at nickel. Gordon's still got a ways to go, but he flashed late in the year. And then if Porter lives up to being a good player, that could be one of the best young secondaries in the NFL. It really could. So, yeah, corner in round 1 is not out of the realm of possibility. Jalen G, top day 3 guys you're happy to see in Chicago. I'll throw a few names. A couple of the running backs. Chase Brown, I'll throw. Deuce Vaughn. If Kendre Miller falls to the 4th round, I would like him as well. Some other day 3 players. What about a guy like Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia? Charlie Jones out of Purdue? Those are some guys. I'm trying to think of some defensive players. Like, how about KJ Henry out of Clemson? You could throw, if Isaiah McGuire slips to day 3. I don't think Derek Hall falls to day 3. I think he goes late 2nd, early 3rd round. But there's some intriguing defensive line prospects that should be there in the 4th and 5th. Kobe Turner is a guy that I like a lot. Moro Ojimo is interesting. So, yeah, I think those are a few players. Also, I'll throw one more. Andrew Voorhees, the offensive lineman out of USC. He would have been a day 2 pick, in my opinion, but he tore his ACL at the Combine. Just redshirt him for a year. If he's there in the 4th or 5th round, let him kind of rehab and redshirt this year. Then 2024, he could compete for a starting role. Johnny Lopez gets the final word. Do you think we should draft a kicker late and cut Cairo Santos? I'm not happy with his age and leg strength. I would not draft a kicker, no. I would bring in a UDFA and have him compete with Santos, and if he beats him out, great. If not, well, you push Santos a bit. I don't think Santos is the long-term option here, but I'm not trying to add kicker confusion into this offseason. Like, you just have other things to worry about. Santos is solid. He's not awesome because of his lack of leg strength. You can't try 60-yarders with him, which, kind of limits strategy at the end of half in games sometimes. But inside 50, he's pretty automatic. I get he missed a few extra points last year, but he's still been pretty solid overall. I would not be hell-bent on focusing on kicker this offseason. All right, who will the Bears draft in round 1? Who will the selection be for Chicago? Whether it's at the number 9 pick, whether it's in a trade down, whether it's in a trade up. Who will be the Bears player that they draft by the time the first round ends? Who will they have? Go ahead and drop a name in the comments. If you didn't get your question answered, we apologize. We will get to your questions on social media, at HGramNFL on Instagram, at HGramNFL on Twitter. Hit me up over there if you have any questions, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we possibly can as soon as possible.